Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video we're going to be talking about the Season 1 dungeon pool released for Mythic Plus of Season 1 of Midnight. So there's a ton of information that came out. I already did a couple videos today. This will be my last one for today at least. And I wanted to talk about these dungeons and give my opinions on them, maybe even get more into these dungeons later on. But let's just go through the dungeon rotation and I'll give my initial opinions on them, okay? So let's first go through the 4 Midnight ones. Maybe I'll even grade them. Magister's Terrace and Midnight. Obviously, this is a new dungeon. We don't know how good it's going to be, but Magister's Terrace was actually a really fun dungeon back when they made it, and hopefully it can recapture some of that fun and as a new dungeon, and it has very high potential to be very, very fun. So I think this could be a beloved dungeon. Obviously, for Mythic Plus reasons, it'll be like whether it's like super hard or not will be whether it's fun, but just for actual coolness of the dungeon, like how it feels, you know, how you do it on normal difficulty, heroic, when people are testing it in beta and alpha and stuff. I think it'll be really, really cool. The Masera Caverns, if you don't know this one, I don't think it's down here. These are the old ones down here. Or it's up here maybe? No. These are still the old ones. So the caverns, it looks very cool. So they've shown us some actually in-game footage from the alpha of like just panning through the dungeon of this, and it looks so nice. Like just visually, this one is the one that looks like Magister's Terrace looks pretty good too, don't get me wrong, but the caverns look very, very stunning. So I think this dungeon could be cool as well, but again, how do we know, right? The 4 that we really are going to know is right here. Nexus Point Zenith. This one didn't look as cool to me. I don't know. I like the old ethereal feel of stuff in Burning Crusade, but for some reason I don't like some of these other ones that have like almost an ethereal feel, but they don't fully go into it, I feel like. So that's kind of my issue with that one. Windrunner Spire, I could actually see this one. Again, this is very early preliminary and based on only footage being seen, but Windrunner Spire reminds me a lot of that dungeon in, oh my gosh, let's look it up real quick, from Legion. Windrunner Spire reminds me of my early reaction to it. Of course, I could be wrong. Is Black Hold. So if you like Black Hold, I think you will like Windrunner Spire. And if you don't, then maybe you won't like Windrunner Spire. That's kind of where I'm at with that right now. Very, very early, of course. These are the 4 Midnight Dungeons that are in Season 1, meaning, of course, it's like same thing as the War Within. 4 of the Midnight Dungeons will then be in Season 2. Algathar Academy returning from Dragonflight. I actually love this dungeon. A lot of people did. You could do a lot of big pulls in this dungeon. Where the state of Ret right now, and obviously there's a lot of changes for Ret going into Midnight, but Algathar Academy could be very fun for Ret Paladins. I would say that. Seat of the Triumvirate. So this is interesting. So this was a very hated dungeon back in Legion, including by me. So Mythic Plus was still new, and Seat of the Triumvirate was added. So was Cathedral of the Eternal Night. Both these dungeons were just more difficult than other dungeons for some reason. They just tuned them harder, like they were mega dungeons or something, even though they weren't. And they did eventually nerf them, but I think a lot of people kind of gave up on them by then and just refused to do those keys and do those things. So I remember I must have had to farm Cathedral of Eternal Night for a trinket or something, because I did it way more times than I would like, and I still remember doing it a little bit. Seat of the Triumvirate, though, I must not have needed anything from there, because I think I just ran this like once or something. Like I never liked running this one. So obviously it's going to take a lot of tuning and changing to get people to like this, but we will see. This has a potential to be a huge, terrible key, but you know they've been tuning and changing mobs and stuff very well lately, so I assume that they're going to get it right. Skyreach is actually the one that I'm most excited for on here. I mean, I'm excited for Magister's Terrace and the Masera Caverns, but you know I haven't seen those yet. But so because I've seen Skyreach before, I think Skyreach has a lot of cool potential as a Mythic Plus dungeon, believe it or not. You know, I think it's very straightforward, so there's not like a bunch of extra pulls you can do. But I think I like this dungeon a lot. I always enjoy doing it. Like I hope they keep that where you have to run against the wind too, even in Mythic Plus. They probably will get rid of that if I'm being honest, but I hope they keep it. I like it. I like this dungeon. I always like doing it when it's time walking for some reason. I'm not sure why. but I've just always enjoyed Skyreach. So I'm actually kind of hyped for it. Oh wait, Skyreach, Warlords of Draenor. Oh my gosh, I was thinking of, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Skyreach. Yeah, I confused myself. I said Burning Crusade Time Walking. I'm at Warlords Time Walking. Skyreach is really fun. And then we have Pit of Saran, Wrath of the Lich King. They're gonna have to do a ton of changes to this dungeon. This is the old one that I'd be most worried about because Sea of Triumvirate was already Mythic Plus, so they just have to change it. Out with our Academy was beloved in Mythic Plus. Skyreach is just a cool dungeon. Pit of Saran is not. This was a whole different style of dungeons that they did when they added those 3 dungeons in Wrath of the Lich King, including Pit of Saran. They were like storytelling dungeons. They're gonna have to change a ton of stuff, in my opinion, from this to make this cool. But it is doable. And out of the 3 dungeons, I think Pit of Saran is the closest one to being good already. So I do think they'll have to change some stuff. And I'm glad if they're gonna pick one from this for whatever reason, I'm glad it's this one, because the other 2 would probably be even worse. If you don't remember those dungeons, we can look at those up really quick too from Wrath of the Lich King. Let's see if we can find them and identify them really quickly here. We had, which ones were added? The Halls of Reflection, so that's super RP, Pit of Saran, and Forge of Souls. Forge of Souls didn't have too much RP, but this dungeon would need tons of work as well. Halls of Reflection, that would just, it's like completely RP, and Pit of Saran is the one that's closest. So, you know, I think it has potential to be fine, but we'll see when it comes out. So, you know, that's where we are. You know, some people still want all 8 midnight dungeons first. I actually like this way better. Just so I don't get bored of the dungeons when you're, you know, if you're filling your vault every week, you're doing 8+ dungeons every single week, you know, to do that for like, I don't know, it's like, it just gets really boring really fast. And then you're doing them later on in the expansion too. And it's like, give us some new, I like cycling in new stuff personally. Yes, I would love if they could create 16 new dungeons every single expansion. That would be even better, but that's not realistic. And so I think this is a good compromise. I know not everybody agrees with that. And yeah, we'll see how it actually turns out. But this is the rotation. Again, Magister's Terrace, Mysera Caverns, Nexus Point Zenith, and Windrunner Spire are the Midnights. Out with our Academy, Sea of Triumvirate, Skyreach, and Pit of Saran are the returning dungeons and ones being converted into Mythic Plus. So yeah, that's it for this one, guys. Let me know what you guys think about the dungeon rotation, about these particular dungeons, all that kind of stuff, you know, in the comments below. As always, I do ask you to please subscribe to the channel. That helps me out a lot. If you're already a subscriber, I encourage you to check out the Patreon, the link below in the description. And other than that, everybody have a good one.